This timeline of Christian missions chronicles the global expansion of Christianity through a listing of the most significant missionary outreach events. Apostolic age. Earliest dates must all be considered. Approximate 33 Great Commission of Jesus to go and make disciples of all nations. Pentecost. A day in which 3,000 Jews from a variety of Mediterranean basin nations are converted to faith in Jesus Christ. 34 In Gaza. Philip baptizes a convert, an Ethiopian who was already a Jewish proselyte. 34 Saul of Tarsus is converted, and becomes Paul. 39 Peter preaches to a Gentile audience in the house of Cornelius in Caesarea Maritima. 42 Mark goes to Alexandria in Egypt. 47 Paul begins his first missionary journey to western Anatolia, part of modern-day Turkey via Cyprus. 50 Council of Jerusalem on admitting Gentiles into the Church. 51 Paul begins his second missionary journey, a trip that will take him through modern-day Turkey and on into Greece. 52 Thomas arrives in Malabar and Coromandel Coast in India and founds church that subsequently becomes the Syrian Malabar Nazranis. 54 Paul begins his third missionary journey. 60 Paul, sent to Rome under Roman guard, evangelizes on Malta after shipwreck. 66 Thaddeus establishes the Christian Church of Armenia. 69 Andrew is crucified in Patras on the Peloponnese peninsula of Greece. 81st Christians reported in Tunisia and France. Early Christianity. 101st Christians are reported in Monaco, Algeria and Sri Lanka. A missionary goes to Arbela, a sacred city of the Assyrians that the Christian Church is Catholicos. 112 Pliny the Younger reports rapid growth of Christianity in Bithynia. 140 Hermes writes, the Son of God has been preached to the ends of the earth. 150 Gospel reaches Portugal and Morocco. 166 Bishop Soter writes that the number of Christians has surpassed the Jews. 167 At the request of Lucius of Britain, missionaries Fuganus and Duvianus were sent by Pope Elytras to convert the Britons to Christianity. 174 First Christians reported in Austria. 177 churches in Lyon and Vienne report being persecuted. 190 Pater Ennis of Alexandria goes to India in response to an appeal for Christian teachers. 196 In Ashuristan, days and rites of Christians among the Assyrians, Parthians, Bactrians, and other peoples in the Persian Empire. 197 Tertullian writes that Christianity had penetrated all ranks of society in North Africa. 198 199 The first missionaries, the Kung-Yue, arrive in Japan by boat from China. 200 First Christians are reported in Switzerland and Belgium. 206 Abgar, the Syriac king of Edessa, embraces the Christian faith. 208 Tertullian writes that Christ has followers on the far side of the Roman wall in Britain where Roman legions have not yet penetrated. 241 The Mesopotamian prophet Mani begins to preach in Seleucia Ctesiphon in what is now Iraq. 250 Denis is sent from Rome along with 6 other missionaries to establish the church in Paris. 270 Death of Gregory Thaumaturgus, Christian leader in Pontus. It was said that when Gregory became bishop, there were only 17 Christians in Pontus, while at his death 30 years later there were only 17 non-Christians. 281st rural churches emerge in northern Italy. Christianity is no longer exclusively in urban areas. 287 Maurice from Egypt is killed at Agrigento, Switzerland for refusing to sacrifice to pagan divinities. 301st Christians reported in Greater Khorasan. An estimated 10% of the world's population is now Christian. Parts of the Bible are available in 10 different languages. 304 Armenia accepts Christianity as state religion. 306 The first bishop of Nisibis is ordained. 313 Emperor Constantine issues Edict of Milan, legalizing Christianity in the Roman Empire. 314 Tiridates III of Armenia and King Erna of Caucasian Albania converted by Gregory the Illuminator. Era of the Seven Ecumenical Councils. 327 Georgian King Mirian III of Iberia converted by Nino. 330 Ethiopian King Ezana of Axum makes Christianity an official religion. 332 Two young Roman Christians, Frumentius and Aedesius, are the sole survivors of a ship destroyed in the Red Sea due to tensions between Rome and Axum. They are taken as slaves to the Ethiopian capital of Axum to serve in the royal court. 334 The first bishop is ordained for Merv, Transoxiana. 337 Emperor Constantine baptized shortly before his death. 341 Ulfilas begins work with the Goths in present-day Romania. 350 Bible is translated into Syriac, an Egyptian language. 354 Theophilus the Indian reports visiting Christians in India. Philostorgius mentions a community of Christians on the Socotra Islands, south of Yemen in the Arabian Sea. 364 Conversion of Vandals to Christianity begins during reign of Emperor Valens. 370 Wulfila translates the Bible into Gothic, the first Bible translation done specifically for missionary purposes. 378 Jerome writes, from India to Britain, all nations resound with the death and resurrection of Christ. 380 Roman Emperor Theodosius I makes Christianity the official state religion. 382 Jerome is commissioned to translate the Gospels into Latin. 386 Augustine of Hippo converted. 397 Ninian evangelizes the southern Picts of Scotland. 3 missionaries sent to the mountaineers in the Trenta region of northern Italy are martyred. 400 Hayyan begins proclaiming gospel in Yemen after having been converted in Hirta on the Persian border, in starting a school for native Gothic evangelists. John Chrysostom writes, "Go and make disciples of all nations was not said for the apostles only, but for us also." 410 New Testament translated into Armenian. 420 A pre-Islam Arabian Bedouin tribe under Sheikh Peter Aspebit is converted. 425 The first bishops are ordained for Herat and Samarkand. 432 Patrick goes to Ireland as missionary. 450 First Christians reported in Liechtenstein. 496 Conversion of Clovis I, King of Franks in Gaul, along with 3,000 warriors. 499 Persian King Kavad I, fleeing his country, meets a group of Christian missionaries going to Central Asia to preach to the Turks. 500 First Christians reported in North Yemen, Narum becomes Christian center. 508 Philoxenus of Mabug begins translation of the Bible into Syriac. 529 Benedict of Nursia destroys pagan temple at Monte Cassino, Italy and builds a monastery. 535 The Hephthalite Huns, nomads living in northern China and Central Asia, who were also known as the White Huns, are taught to read and write by Nestorian missionaries. 542 Julian from Constantinople begins evangelizing Nubia, accompanied by an Egyptian named Theodore. 563 Columba sails from Ireland to Scotland, where he founds an evangelistic training centre on Iona. 569 Longinus, church leader in Nobatia, evangelizes Alaudia. 578 Conversion to Christianity of Anuman III, last of Lakhmids. 592 Death of Celtic-Irish missionary Muluwag. 596 Gregory the Great sends Augustine and a team of missionaries to England to reintroduce the gospel. The missionaries settle in Canterbury and within a year baptize 10,000 people. 600 First Christian settlers in Andorra. 604 A church is reportedly planted on Thorney Island. 627 Conversion of King Edwin of Northumbria. 629 Amandus of Elnon is consecrated a missionary bishop. He evangelized the region around Ghent and went on missions to Slavs along the Danube and Basques in Navarre. 630 Conversion of the East Angles. 635 First Christian missionaries. 637 Lombards, a German people living in northern Italy, become Christians. 638 A church building is erected in Chang'an, then perhaps the largest city in the world. 647 Amadeus, Bishop of Maastricht, carries out missionary work in Frisia and among the Slavices. 650 First Church organized in Netherlands. 673 Irish monk Maol Ruva founds a training centre at Apricrossen that would serve as a base for missionary outreach into Scotland. 680 First translation of Christian scriptures into Arabic. 687 Conversion of Sussex. 689 Pagans kill Irish missionary Kilian near Wurzburg in what is now Germany. 692 Willibrord and 11 companions cross the North Sea to become missionaries to the Frisians. 697 Muslims overrun Carthage, capital of North Africa. 720 Caliph Umar II puts heavy pressure on the Christian Berbers to convert to Islam. 716 Boniface begins missionary work among Germanic tribes. 724 Boniface fells pagan sacred oak of Thor at Geismar in Hesse. 740 Irish monks reach Iceland. 771 Charlemagne becomes king and will decree that sermons be given in the vernacular. He also commissioned Bible translations. 781 Nestorian stele erected near Xi'an to commemorate the propagation in China of the luminous religion, thus providing a written record of a Christian presence in China. 787 Liaja begins missionary work among the pagans near the mouth of the Ems River. Middle Ages. 822 Mojmir of Great Moravia converts to Christianity. 826 Ansgar from France is sent by papal authority to Denmark as a royal chaplain and missionary. Harold Clark is baptized along with 400 of his followers at Mainz. 828 First Christian church in present-day Slovakia is built in Nitra. First missionaries reach the area that is now the Czech Republic. 830 Scots-born Erluf is evangelizing in Germany when he is killed by the Vandals. 859 Execution of Eulogius, proponent of confrontational Christian witness in Spain and other Muslim-dominated societies. societies. Opposed to any feeling of affinity with Muslim culture, Eulogius advocated using a missiology of martyrdom to confront Islam. 863 Cyril and Methodius are invited by Rastislav to evangelize in Great Moravia and the Balaton Principality. 864 Conversion of Prince Boris of Bulgaria. 867 All Serbian tribes are fully Christianized. 878 Last definite reference to Christians in China before the Mongol era. 881 Slavic archbishopric established in Great Moravia with Methodius as its head. Bible translated into Slavonic. 900 missionaries from the Archdiocese of Bremen, Hamburg reach Norway. 912 The Normans become Christian. 948 The leader of the Magyars converts to Christianity. 957 Princess Olga of Kiev baptized. 965 Harald I of Denmark converts to Christianity and smooths the way for the acceptance of Christian faith by the Danish people. 966 Moscow I of Poland converts to Christianity and begins the period of Christian Poland. 987 Nestorian monks visiting China find no traces of Christian community left. 988 Baptism of Kievan Rus under Vladimir I. 995 Christian missionaries from Norway begin working in Iceland. 997 Adalbert of Prague dies as a martyr in Prussia. 1000 to 1499. 1000 Christianity accepted by common consent in Iceland by Parliament. Leif the Lucky introduces the gospel to Greenland, possibly Vinland. 1003 The Hungarian king sends evangelists to Transylvania. 1008 Siegfried, English missionary, baptizes King Olaf of Sweden. 1009 Bruno of Querfurt is beheaded in Prussia where he had gone as a missionary. 1015 Russia is said to have been comprehensively converted to the Orthodox faith. Olaf II heralds and becomes the first king of the whole of Norway. Over the next 15 years he would organize Norway's final conversion and its integration into Christian Europe. 1017 Gunther tries to convert the inhabitants of Vorpommern. The mission is not successful. 1122 Bernhard, later Bishop of Lebus, launches an unsuccessful mission in the Duchy of Pomerania. 1124 28th Otto von Bamberg succeeds in the conversion of Pomerania. Bishopric of Kamin established in Pomerania in 1140. 1168 Absalon subdues and converts the Principality of Rügen. 1200 The Bible is now available in 22 different languages. 1210 Franciscan Order established. 1216 Dominican Order established. 1219 Francis of Assisi presents the Gospel to the Sultan of Egypt. 1227 Prince Bort converted and baptized in the Ukraine. 1244 Christians are reported in Lithuania with King Mindaugas being baptized in 1251. 1253 Franciscan William of Rubruck begins his journey to the Mongols. 1266 Mongol leader Khan sends Marco Polo's father and uncle, Niccolo and Matteo Polo, back to Europe with a request to the Pope to send 100 Christian missionaries. 1276 Ramon Lal opens training center to send missionaries to North Africa. 1291 Appointment of first indigenous bishop in Finland. 1294 Franciscan Giovanni da Monte Corvino arrives in China. 1303 Arnold of Cologne arrives in China to assist Giovanni da Monte Corvino. 1321 Jordanus, a Dominican monk, arrives in India as the first resident Roman Catholic missionary. 1322 Odoric of Pordenone, a Franciscan monk from Italy, arrives in China. 1323 Franciscans make contacts on Sumatra, Java, and Borneo. 1326 Chagatai Khan Ilkhijdai grants permission for a church to be built in Samarkand, Uzbekistan. 1329 Nicaea falls to Muslim Ottoman Turks. 1334 Chagatai Khan Buzan allows Christians to rebuild churches and permits Franciscans to establish a missionary episcopate in Al-Mali, Azerbaijan. 1368 Collapse of the Franciscan mission in China as Ming dynasty abolishes Christianity. 1379 Stephen of Perm travels north toward the White Sea and settles as a missionary among the Uralic-speaking Komi peoples living between Pekhara and Vichegda rivers at Ust-Fim. 1382 Bible translated into English from Latin by John Wycliffe. 1386 Jogaila, king of the Lithuanians, is baptized. 1389 Large numbers of Christians march through the streets of Cairo, denouncing Islam and lamenting that they had abandoned the religion of the fathers from fear of persecution. They were beheaded, both men and women, and a fresh persecution of Christians followed. 1400 Scriptures translated into Icelandic. 1408 Spanish Dominican Vincent Ferrer begins a ministry in Italy in which it is said that thousands of Jews and Muslims were won to faith in Christ. 1410 Bible is translated into Hungarian. 1420 Franciscan missionaries accompany Portuguese expedition to Madeira. 1431 Franciscan missionaries accompany Portuguese expedition to the Azores. 1435 Forced conversion of Jews in Palma de Mallorca, Spain. 1445 First Christians reported in Guinea-Bissau. 1448 First Christians reported in Mauritania. 1450 Franciscan missionaries accompany Portuguese expedition to the Cape Verde Islands. 1453 Constantinople falls to the Muslim Ottoman Turks who make it their capital. An Islamic service of thanksgiving is held in the Church of St. Sophia. 1455 With the bull Romanus Pontifex the patronage of missions in new countries behind Cape Bojador is given to the Portuguese. 1462 Johannes Gutenberg begins printing the Bible with his movable type printing process. Pope Pius II assigns the evangelization of the Portuguese Guinea coast of Africa to the Franciscans led by Alfonso de Balerno. 1485 After having come into contact with the Portuguese, the King of Benin requests that a church be planted in his kingdom. 1486 Dominicans become active in West Africa, notably among the Wolof people in Senegambia. 1489 Baptism of Wolof King Behemwa in Senegal. 1491 The Congo sees its first group of missionaries arrive. Under the ministry of these Franciscan and Dominican priests, the king would soon be baptized and a church built at the royal capital. 1492 Birth of the Church in Angola. 1493 Pope Alexander VI commands Spain to colonize the New World with Catholic missions. Christopher Columbus takes Christian priests with him on his second journey to the New World. 1494 First missionaries arrive in Dominican Republic. 1495 The head of a convent in Seville, Spain, Mercedarian George makes a trip to the West Indies. 1496 First Christian baptisms in the New World take place when Guatacaba along with other members of his household are baptized on the island of Hispaniola. 1497 Forced conversion of Jews in Portugal. 1498 First Christians are reported in Kenya. 1499 Portuguese Augustinian missionaries arrive at Zanzibar. The mission will end in 1698 due to the Oman Arab conquest.